Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. As always, I am your wonderful host, Mr. Rant, which we've got a jam-packed episode today because we're going to talk about Gen V and we're going to talk about Peacemaker Season 2, the episode right before the final, which, goddamn, this is becoming awesome. This show is just beating all expectations. And we need to rant about it. And we need to rant about some of the news that's come out this past week, which is insane. Some things are fantastic. Some other things are a bit bad. They're like, oh, it's not going to really fly. But look, we didn't go live last week, which due to plans. And this weekend we're kind of a little bit late to this going live at the moment. That's the reason, because this past weekend I went on to the Back to the Future the musical, which if you haven't gone and seen that, and if you are a Back to the Future fan, you absolutely love this. I saw it. I was blown away. It completely beat my expectations on what this was going to be. And the pyro, the techniques, the lighting, everything. Yes, the story of Back to the Future has been adapted into a musical, so there are like little bit changes here and there, but nothing too massive. It's just enough. It's funny. It's everything. So trust me when I say go see the Back to the Future musical. I got a t-shirt. I got a program. Just make sure the fact you get a little bit extra money in your back pocket for it, because it ain't cheap. But as always, with Lights, Camera, Rant, we go live every single week, and you see an episode every single week, either Tuesday or Monday morning, depending where you are in the world. And I also like a big shout out to Mark. Hello from California here. Hello, sir. Hello from Australia on the other side of the globe. So thanks for coming past the live, man. Really appreciate it. But yeah, definitely go check out Back to the Future. You really need to go see this. Mark, what's your take on Charlie Kirk? There's a lot to unpack on that whole situation. I feel for his family. I really do feel for his family on what happened. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family and his pets as well on him. Not something I woke up to in the news was really thought I'd read. But then again, there's a lot of things I find this year in 2025 that I've woken up and read the news and gone, well, you know what? Wasn't expecting that. Like, for example, there is a news that we're going to be talking about today where literally actors are versing a AI generated actor, and that's coming up as well in together for it. Because wow, that's another thing that the thing I'd be hearing is the news of what we see in 2025. But wow. Also, okay. Where are we? We also got We're All Hypocrites. Thanks for coming past. Wobbly Cross 75, I thought was MAGA Hat. MAGA Hat? I don't know what MAGA Hat. I'm not too sure. Oh, that's right. Yes, sorry, MAGA Hat. Yes, sorry. I know. MAGA Hat. I know. I made this hat, and because my favorite color is red. And once I got in the mail, I looked and went, that looks really like something else. But no, just Mr. Rant. Unfiltered since day one, which, I would say make movies great again, but I would also say not only make movies great again, but ease up on sequels, reboots, legacy sequels, and just more original ideas, really. But then again, every idea, every movie is a stem from something else again and again, which always my favorite is the fact that we look at Avatar. Avatar is just a story of Pocahontas. If you scribble out a whole bunch of pieces, boom, it's the same story, really. And not only is that the same story, but then you look at Star Wars and how that has elements of Dune. Like it's just nothing's pure original. Everything's always stories blend together. And when we do get something original, like what we've seen this year with, for example, like F1, like yes, people can make an argument with me going, oh, F1 is just another racing movie, just like all the rest. It's nothing different, but it's still the fact is how much money it's made this year. It was different. It wasn't a legacy sequel. It wasn't a reboot. It was nothing like that. And it got its just deserved on how much money it made. There is a sequel currently in the works being discussed. I don't know how they're going to turn that into a sequel, but look, if we can get Brad Pitt behind the vehicle again, get some more F1s, get Hans Zimmer back, that would be outstanding and would be incredible. And I would absolutely love that. But you never know what could happen. We're all hypocrites. Why I lost interest in video games and TV seems like they're all rewashed and garbage. Well, look, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. There's a lot of things out there that are just rehash again. But you can find gems. There's still plenty of gems out there. Like we're going to talk about Marvel Zombies is fantastic right now. That's just been streaming. Gen V is fantastic at the moment. Fallout that's coming out later this year is fantastic. Dexter Resurrection, and we're also going to be talking about Peacemaker. So there is still, but yes, with Peacemaker though, if you are over the whole superhero genre and feel like it's killing Hollywood or it's oversaturated, probably not for you. But the argument I always have with a lot of people is I know how people are like, oh, it's just, we need something original. And it's just so many superhero films. You gotta remember that there was an era, that where one period of time with Hollywood, it was just Westerns, Western, all the time. People got sick of that, and eventually that developed into something else. And to the same degree, late 90s and early 2000s of world-ending movies or monster movies. Even the monster movies. There were so many monster movies, and then that eventually came to a crashing halt. So Hollywood goes through this cycle of can follow a trend. They go nuts. And then it's something new. I'm curious, and right now I think we're on that verge of something new with movies turning into video games at the moment, because the latest video game adaptations that we've got recently have been absolutely fantastic and have knocked it out of the park, like Fallout, like Super Mario movies. And there is so many video games that you can bring to the big screen or the silver screen, it doesn't matter, that can really knock it out of the park. Like there's one that I really can't wait, even though it is under Netflix, that I really can't wait to see on the big screen, and it's BioShock. If you haven't played the game, go on YouTube, have a look at it. It is such an incredible, immersive video game. The story is so rich. To see something like that on the big screen would just be, a big screen would be incredible, but unfortunately, it's only going to see on the small screen. It's going to be Netflix. Season 1 is just doing the video game. There's only 3 video games. There should be a 4th one. It's just a darn shame that we probably will never get that 4th one ever again. We are hypocrites. Dead Space. Dead Space would be really, really good to see as a movie. Horrific and would be fantastic. Mass Effect. Yes. So the of video game adaptations to movies or TV shows, that really hasn't been touched enough. I'll go on to, but look, that's where I can see on the horizon. That's the next big verge I can see going to. Both the movies, TV shows, that's pretty much the that they really need to go to. But don't get me wrong. I like a good Western. I feel like there needs to be a couple more of those movies. That'd be fantastic. World of Warcraft, yes, I did get some bad rap, but again, I'm surprised the fact that hasn't really get an edge for a sequel, or or a TV show in that sense. I'm surprised that just kind of went up and dead for how big and immersive that video game is. And the CGI in the movie wasn't too bad either. Dungeons and Dragons did decent at the box office as well. Didn't get great reviews, but it did decent at the box office. Still warranted and what it could be. So the plethora of video games is there. But the thing is, superhero films will never disappear. Ever. Those films will never disappear because there is, again, a big rich of talent, because there is so many comic books on so many different characters. You think about all the video games, all the characters that we have seen on the big screen, there is still so many that are untouched that you could bring to the big screen that might be the next big hit. Like, hell, look at Peacemaker. Peacemaker is not an A character, he's not a B, he's not a C, he's more a D. I think he's a D and E character, and look how much he's blown up. Obviously, because I think that John Cena's fantastic acting, and of course James Gunn's writing. But like, that's a character you would never think to bring to the big screen. A few years ago, you wouldn't know who Peacemaker was, and even to this day, again, is that people also, Iron Man is one of the biggest superheroes currently on the planet. Period. Right up there in the same breath as Wolverine, Superman, and Spider-Man. But he's not an A. Before Iron Man, he wasn't an A character. He was a C character. We're all hypocrites. No, but they need to go back to animatronics, back like The Thing. Yes, that is definitely something I do agree with, is that we need to go back to the era of more practical effects. More practical effects need to be done. Like a really good one just recently is Andor Season 2. Andor Season 2 looks crisp. It looks fantastic because they did a lot of on set location shooting, of course, green screens and all that, to make it. But they did that fantastic, opposed to using, like, for example, the volume, which there is a space, there is a particular place for the volume that is fantastic, but it just looks more. It just looks more crisp with Andor on that sense. I'll have to look at where I'll have to look at the. I think there's a word missing there. But Peacemaker is good. I can't believe that we're already at the end of Peacemaker, to be honest. And right now, as I'm recording this, there is no official confirmation for season 3. And apparently James Gunn says the final is nuts and will lead straight into the Man of Tomorrow, which is the Man of Steel sequel that we are getting in 2027, which is very fast to how we normally get it. But look, as I'm going to let's talk in the news. We go in the past week, which I can't believe, and I can't believe we got it, but it's kind of disappointment, because I'm like, we got the official announcement of The Simpsons Movie 2, which I didn't think there was ever going to be The Simpsons Movie 2. Obviously, they must have a decent story to bring the second one to the big screen, and that's also coming in 2027. Oh, wow, that was a perfect segue into that. But that's coming in 2027 as well. So we're getting that, but at the same time, I was like, okay, cool. Haven't watched The Simpsons in a while, and when I do, it's just usually the old episodes. At the same time, I was like, I kind of want a Family Guy movie. Surely, there's a story that can be told with Family Guy. For how long Family Guy has been going, and I know some people don't like the humor. Some people prefer American Dad. Some people prefer Bob's Burgers. But Family Guy is that big and could make the money. They probably will. They wouldn't make that movie at the box office, but I'm sure there's a big movie. And I know right now with pretty sure Ted season 2 is still meant to be happening. Yeah, man, Simpsons. I miss the old humor. Ted season 2, pretty sure that's happening. Yes. Ted has been officially. Yes, Ted season 2 is officially wrapped up. So I know that. What's his name? Seth MacFarlane is currently working at the moment. So surely he's going to start working on the Family Guy movie, because again, like, I'm sure that's going to do something. I'm pretty sure the last thing I ever saw it was an idea. But that's about. Oh yeah, that's it. Why is it taking so long? And apparently Seth MacFarlane has an idea for it, but that's all. That's all it is at this current stage, which I'm pretty sure it's been so long. Oh my god, that's right, 24 seasons, 24 seasons of Family Guy. When I'm talking about this, because they've got to do it before someone carks it in any way. Where are we? Where's the part I'm looking for? Nope. Ooh. No. Where is it? Seth MacFarlane has had a particular idea for the movie over 15 years, but hasn't had time to execute it. The project has been pushed back by busy schedules of the creator and writers, as well as because despite there is no official announcement at this stage with it, so it's that sucks. But it's meant to be coming at some point. Meant to be coming at some point. We're meant to be getting this, so hopefully it comes sooner. But yeah, like you tell me, in the comments when you saw the announced the Simpsons movie too. Were you like, yeah, oh my god, this is amazing, or were you like, cool story, bro? Thanks. This will go to the far back of my list of films that I'm most looking forward to. And me saying that, I can tell you that it is at least number 4 or 5 on my listing after Superman, Secret Wars, and Man of Steel. Like it is. Oh, sorry, the Batman 2. It is so far back in my mind. Also, just a real quick thing is that we will be reviewing Marvel Zombies quite soon, so definitely stay tuned for that. But apparently they have also the creators of Marvel Zombies, because Marvel Zombies has been well received, except for a couple of things that I will get into later. But they are currently waiting for the green light for season 2. And I know there's a lot of people saying, why did we only get 4 episodes? The creators also have come forward. The reason for that is because the streaming rights to Spider-Man. Apparently, Marvel MCU can only can't use Spider-Man unless it's in conjunction with Sony, but they can still use Spider-Man in a TV episodic streaming services, which is how they were able to do this Spider-Man TV show that came out earlier this year. Hey man, the MC Wummel, how are you going, man? Disney looking for cheap movies to produce and hope they'll get some return on the cross of their Fox IP. Yeah, that's very true, good sir. That's very true. But we're gonna Avatar in December, which I'm not really too excited for. But I'm excited for Tron that's coming out this week. Yes, which I'm really excited to get into that. How am I train of thought? Predator Badlands. Probably one of the best things coming out of the Fox deal, besides the Marvel characters going into the MCU, is the fact that we got a brand new Predator movie, which is Prey, which is bloody outstanding. And now we're getting a sequel to that, technically, called Predator Badlands. It's coming out in November, which is getting the full release, which I'm so excited for. So that's one of the better things that's come out. Also, if you haven't already, definitely go check out the Good Boy horror movie that's currently in cinemas at the moment. This is a horror movie that's all from the perspective of dog. It's getting rave reviews. I need to go see this as soon as possible. It is an indie film. It looks so different. Definitely go check this one out. And don't you worry, the director has confirmed the dog does not die. So this is what I was going to talk about earlier, is that Tilly. MC Will. I thought the voice acting in Marvel Zombies acting was bad. You can tell who's not experienced in voice acting. I wonder who you're talking about. Like, I thought it was mostly all right. I was trying to think who I watched. I was a bit like, you're shit. Yeah, who are you talking about? Who thought his voice acting was terrible? I also like how Elizabeth Olsen was like, I recorded that like in my house like 3 years ago or something, and totally forgot that it did or didn't come out. And she's like, I couldn't tell you the plot about it at all. And we're just so excited the fact that she's back as Wanda, but she's like, yeah, I did that ages ago. Like that's what I find funny. But yeah, so Tolly Norwood, she's an AI actor, and completely AI generated. And currently, right now in Hollywood, there is a big discussion about her and the future of acting in Hollywood. Going to, where does this draw the line? What does this mean? Does this also um, does this also threaten actors? Well, it does threaten actors, because you could CGI anything into a movie. Why can't you CGI an entire actor when someone's going to do their lines? Especially with how it all looks like now, we can make them look so real. It begs that question, like, and what that means for the future of Hollywood as we continue going into the next stage, going into what Hollywood is right now. And don't get me wrong, AI, it's funny because AI is the past 3 years has gone nuts on what you can use with ChatGPT, what you can use to create thumbnails and music and everything is just on a completely another level. MC, okay, here we go. Here we go. The actor playing Riri Rooms. In fact, you can tell across the cast they phone it in literally. Well, yeah, all of them probably. Yeah, all of them did. But Elizabeth Olsen confirmed it. She literally did it in her house. There was none of these actors would have been together. 100% this is post-COVID, so they could have done this together, but they're totally separate for all of them. So, yeah, I know. It was nice to see all these characters back, to be honest, especially some we haven't seen. And the first time we've seen Blade in the MCU physically, technically. Oh God, I gotta get into that. But the launch of here we go. The launch of Sora 2 is just Insidious, going to push people out of work. And here's the thing, going on back on the AI, it's hurting jobs, it's hurting creativity, but it's depending. The thing is, and I know it's like, oh my God, is this going to be Skynet? Holy shit, is this how the way the world ends? Is this like how we're going into this? Um, Unfortunately, it's going to be such an evolving thing, and then to the point where there's going to be even more laws on AI and what you can do and can't do it. I think people forget the fact the whole idea of AI, like ChatGPT, which I use every day for simple tasks. I use it to help me. I use it to correct. So I use Excel. I use ChatGPT as a tool, which AI should be used as a tool, because my thing is time is your most valuable resource. And if you have a tool that can give you back more time, um, then you should use it as much as you can to do that. So you can enjoy family, life, other things, not be, locked down. But that's the thing, it should just be used as a tool. Now that we are in this era where the fact that it's a whole people thrown with their jobs for acting, that's a huge conversation. That's massive to break down and think about, and on that sense. And like, yes, ChatGPT, AI has been parroted multiple times, especially the past 3 to 4 years as it's continued to grow. Like hell, there was just a video released the other day of Pikachu, which it looked like he was in Saving Private Ryan. Like, there's just things like that that just like, wow, it's incredible on what you can do. Um, or for example, like the simple things that you can do with AI, where people turn old photographs onto like family hugging and stuff like that. That's incredible. But there's just right way to use AI, the wrong way, and probably have to have a discussion. The MC. Well, I'm waiting for the AI written, AI produced movie. It's going to be terrible, but executives will love it. They will. Unfortunately, they really will. They're going to love it because at the end of the day, like Hollywood is business. These studios are in the business of making money. And for people who say, oh, they're not, they're just trying to shine. No, they want to shine these small movies, but they still want to make the money. That's the thing. Or we'll make a TV show so they get more streamers. Like that's what it is. It's all business at the end of the day and what we see. And there's a whole discussion again on top of that is the Hollywood names aren't bringing in though aren't guaranteed box office wins anymore. Like look at in the past week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks now, is that we have the Big Bold Beautiful Journey. It is a fantastic film. It's great. It's unique. It's very different. So there's a lot of layers on this. But it's got Colin Farrell and it's got Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie's first major movie since Barbie. These two are well-known actors. They're fantastic. They're great. Their body of work is unmeasurable. But this film barely made any money at the box office. Like, and I'm talking barely to the point where it is a financial loss, this film, entirely. It is, not because the film's entirely bad, but the fact that it didn't bring in thinking have these actors into it. Don't get me wrong, like it's a very unique film. It's shot differently, and not to mention with the way the trailers portrayed it. Sometimes if you go too different, you can throw people off entirely. And if people can't understand from the trailer, sometimes people just tune out. And that's another thing is that which I've noticed myself, like when I'm going to the movies now, is that people on their phones or people are talking, people's attention spans feel like they're dwindling, or they just can't pay attention. And that's because that's the 3-second mindset because of TikTok, Reels, and all that. So you slap that on, and people, if you really can't grab people at that time, then the people aren't going to go see the movie, which is a darn shame because it is different, but looking in a different way. So the future of Hollywood, the future of film and television and video games is it's very interesting where that's going to go. In mentioning that, also the MC will. If it costs me just under $20 for a movie ticket, I'll be picky about what I watch, or just wait for the stream stuff. Yeah, see, that's the other thing, which there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't like the film, just wait it 2 months, and it's on streaming. Like Superman is already streaming on HBO Max. In a month's time, no official release date yet, but I assume so. Fantastic Four will be on Disney Plus streaming. So you can, because you're already paying for it, so you can just wait if you don't want to go out and see it. So there's no real urgency anymore. I gotta go to the movies, gotta catch this before it leaves the theaters. Nah, I'll just wait till streaming. It'll be there. And the thing is that it hurts the movie theaters, but studios want to go streaming it as soon as possible to boost people joining the platform to watch it. Like HBO Max will go a huge boost when Superman dropped. Right now, Superman and Peacemaker are carrying the flag for HBO Max. So yeah, that's absolutely carrying that flag. But speaking of streaming services, for all you gamer nerds out there, is that also announced for Fallout 76 is that in conjunction with the brand new Fallout TV show season 2 that will be dropping on Amazon in December, is that Goggins, William Goggins, is making his big debut as a ghoul in Fallout 76 that will be coming in December. So you can play him in the video game and watch him in season 2, which I can't wait for season 2. And speaking of, not technically another season, but apparently Universal Studios is looking to make the money for and bring Brendan Fraser back for it. because obviously we all remember The Mummy with Tom Cruise. That was a giant box office bomb and was a terrible idea because it was also meant to start the monster shared universe, which did not work at all and basically flew into the sun at launch. Like literally just went straight up and burned, like nothing. No landing, no execution. Basically took a group photo of everybody and then boom, right into the sun. That is how that all went for poor Universal because of this poor reception of the Mummy reboot. So again, we're looking at a legacy sequel. And don't get me wrong, I will be right up there for the Mummy 4. I would love to see Brendan Fraser back as the character, but how his body is going to be, because he has mentioned that his shoulders, his body, physically and all that, he might not be there. So again, it probably will be like, was it number 3? Yeah, number 3. I do believe like his son will have to be a little older. He'll be a family. I don't think he'll be doing a whole lot of action set pieces, but I'm all up for the Mummy 4. And also speaking of a sequel, speaking of another sequel, which I find so interesting on this. So 2 months ago, Vin Diesel was in LA and he was on stage. I can't remember what it was for. He mentioned the fact that the 3 things that he's going to do with the final installment of Fast and Furious. It was going to do street racing, and it was going to be back in LA. And I think he said Paul Walker was going to return somehow in some type of shape or way. But the report is that apparently that sequel hasn't been greenlit. They want to cut the budget for it because the last one barely made its money back, which we will double check that right now. Where are we? Which wouldn't surprise me on these films because, Fast X, 2023. Yeah, so this is how you always go work it out. $378 million to make the film. That sometimes does not include the marketing. And it made $714 million at the box office. So it didn't, it slightly made double, but also could be a loss. Was it Fast 9 that made the shit ton? No. Nope. I think it's, that's it. Yeah, The Fate of the Fast and Furious, which was the last one with Paul Walker. That was the moneymaker. On a budget of $270 million, that made $1.736 billion at the box office. So that was why that kicked off on that. But Fast 10. Fast 10. That's meant to be, so no release date, and that is meant to be the last Fast and Furious film. Meant to be, but also there's a whole bunch of sequels. But with all the Fast and Furious films, it has become one of the highest grossing franchises of all time. I can't remember where it actually makes it sit. There we go. Bingo. Okay, so of course the highest grossing franchise of all time is the MCU. It's a massive franchise, and no other film, no other thing is ever going to take that away. Number 2 is Spider-Man. Number 3 is Star Wars. Number 4 is The Wizarding World. Number 5 is James Bond. 6 is Avengers by itself. 7 is X-Men. 8 is Fast and Furious. 9 is DC The Extended Universe. 10 is Batman. That's all the Batman films all together. 11th is Jurassic Park. 12 is Middle-earth. 13 is Despicable Me. God damn. 14 is Transformers. And 15 is Avatar for only its 2 films. And with third one on the horizon. But let's put that in perspective. So Marvel MCU is 37 films. Spider-Man is 16 films. That's all the Spider-Man films. But the one that has the most, but is not as high. Yep, that is correct. So besides the MCU, the next franchise that has the most films is James Bond with 27 films, but it's only number 5 in the category. So basically, less movies means more money, bigger films, depending how you want to put it. But yes, Fast and Furious might be bye-bye. But speaking of the Avengers, speaking of now, this could take this as a grain of salt, ladies and gentlemen, ranters and rantettes. There is a rumor out there that we may get the first teaser for Avengers Doomsday in front of Avatar 3 that'll be coming in December. If that is true, hell yes. Because we may, depending on how this goes, we may get a teaser here, full trailer at the Super Bowl next year. Or they'll just wait till the Super Bowl, get the most eyes on it all together. But if we could just get the teaser, just give me the real basic teaser. Just give me something real simple. I'll be on my way for what this goes. Because Channing Tatum has recently interviewed the fact what we're going to see is going to melt our brains on what we're going to see. And it's just the next another level on Deadpool Wolverine, which is utterly insane. And if he's right, I splat my brains on this, I'm going to go nuts. But yes, hopefully we do get that as well. Now, also, if you haven't already seen it, please definitely go check this out. It's called Mouse PI. It's a black and white game, which is basically essentially Mickey Mouse as a detective, but it's a little bit more brutal. The creators for this game have announced the fact that it's meant to be releasing this year. So far, up to this point, with only 3 months left in the year, we have not got official release date. However, they have announced the fact that they will be at an upcoming event on October the 23rd with a brand new trailer and the official release date. So hopefully the fact that it will still be coming this year. However, in saying that, with only 2.5 months left of the year, I'd be very surprised the fact that they drop it unless it is a Christmas bonus, which would be fantastic if we could get that. But I'm not holding my breath just in case. Now, the reason why this game is just got my attention because it's different, it's unique. The shooting style, the fact it's a detective game and it's a shooter all in the same. It's one of those games that you watch and really go, okay, I need to pay attention to this. I really want to watch. I really want to see how this goes. And I'm always up for supporting indie games, but this has collected so much traction. The trailers, everything. It's looking really good. I just hope the fact that it does live up to the hype and how it's going to go next into the next stage, Mouse PI 2, 3, that they get that recognition on how it's going to work, and hopefully it does boost it. I keep thinking about the fact, I know I've spoken about it a couple of times, but Helldivers 2, for a game that you told me that was one of the biggest games of the year, and it was going to be the first game that would cross-platform with Xbox and PlayStation, both being in the trailer, I would have been like, you are absolutely full of shit. That's not going to happen. And look where that is now. And at the moment, they do not mean to make Helldivers 3. This is just it. But yeah, I hope Mouse PI gets the justice it deserves. I'm looking forward to the next trailer. I totally forgot his name. That voices the main character, but he plays Indiana Jones in the Indiana Jones game. He's played the Joker. He also plays Joel in The Last of Us. He's iconic in the video game voicing world. So yeah, they've got all the makings. They even said because they were at an event earlier this year in Australia talking about the video game, and they said they even contacted the guys from Doom about the shooting mechanics and the best way. So they've even got their inspired. So it's fantastic to see. So hopefully, we keep seeing how it goes. But yeah, hopefully this year. Now, something I didn't think I would ever see is Demon Slayer has smashed Superman at the box office. Not only Superman has also smashed Fantastic Four as well. As I'm recording this, we are currently looking at Demon Slayer has made $757 million at the box office, smashing through Superman, which only made $616 million at the box office, is incredible and insane to think about. So if I go into here, let's try and get the worldwide for this. because god damn, it's just not something I would predicted. Here we go. So in perspective, let me put this in perspective for you, ladies and gentlemen, and ranters and rantettes. Demon Slayer and the Infinity Castle has beaten How to Train Your Dragon. It has beaten Superman. It has beaten F1. It has beaten Mission Impossible, The Conjuring, Captain America, Thunderbolts, Sinners, Weapons, Final Destination. Its next 4 targets is Jurassic World Rebirth, the Minecraft movie, Lilo and Stitch, and Z-Zart 2, which has made ridiculous nearly $2 million at the box office, which is insane, mostly foreign. But Lilo and Stitch, so far right now, Lilo and Stitch is the only film this year, American, besides has crossed the $1 billion at the box office. As I'm recording that, I don't think. Actually, you know what? I lie. I think Avatar will be the next film that will cross that box office. I hope Tron makes a shit ton of the box office and warrants to do another sequel. But that's just insane. And the fact that Demon Slayer, that is incredible. It is out of this world. You need to go see this. Just even if you like, for me, like barely knows anything to zero to know about a Demon Slayer, visually it is a marvel and must be seen in IMAX for this film. I was blown away. My jaw was on the ground for what I was watching. I'm like, I have no idea who these characters are, but holy shit. that is, that is cinema. That is really hands up in the air. This is cinema, watching Demon Slayer, and how fantastic for it. And I would love to see, which I haven't, I would love to see a Dragon Ball Z movie and IMAX. That'd be incredible. Whether I don't know when the next Dragon Ball Z movie is, or Dragon Ball Super Season 2 technically would be great. That'd be also, but yeah, damn. I could have not predicted that at all. That is just incredible, that fact that's done that. And something that I hope will be done, that hopefully will make that done and will actually do it, is Keanu Reeves has recently spoken the fact that he has, or he's about to submit a draft or script to DC Studios to make Constantine 2. And look, I hope this gets off the ground, because he has mentioned multiple times he would love to return to this character. And I think in the universe that DC could do, with the Batman being the Elseworlds story, they could really do it. And if James Gunn, if he can find that slot in the overall universe that he's building, if he can slit in Constantine, Keanu Reeves, I'll lose my mind. And the fact we see Constantine, Keanu Reeves in his new DC, I'll just be like, holy shit. People would go nuts for that. But if he's in that, but also his story is a lot more grounded. I know people are like, oh no, we want it to be more like the movie. You could still do that. You could still have it like that. We could see that. That would be fantastic to see. I'm all in and would love to see it myself. But yeah, Constantine too. So hopefully the script can be that cherry on the cake and be what they need moving forward, which I'd love to see. But I'd love to know in the comments, what do you think about Constantine 2? Would you want to see him in James Gunn DC, or would you like to see him just in his own universe like the Batman? Definitely let me know. So that is some of the biggest news that's happening in the past week. But let's talk about Peacemaker. We are nearly at the end. We've just seen episode 7. The final is this week. This show has been fantastic. This last episode gives us a little bit of background, a little bit more background it's a lot of background. Yeah, a lot of background actually on this messed up world that is meant to be Chris's perfect world, which is insane to think about. On the particular type of people, one, World War II, how the world is messed up, or one got out. It is messed. Oh, the fact that Judo Master kills so many people in that pool, and that goes, yeah, my top's 4, but this brings a whole nother level again. On top of that, so it's just this episode just goes a little bit interesting. And I know I've seen the comment of someone saying the fact, wow, Peacemaker did the multiverse a whole lot better than what Marvel's been trying to build for. Okay, let's pull back that comment because Peacemaker's done the multiverse great. That's awesome. But it's two different things entirely. So you can't, don't bring out that card. I swear sometimes people just come out with comments of anything to rip down Marvel entirely. Oh, it's turned to shit. It's turned awful. This is bad. This is shit. And I'm like, what? Just enjoy it for what it is. Don't just, just don't critique it for the sake of just bullshit. That's what my problem is that, people just critique it for like no reason or just want to get that ripe out of everybody or comments that just make no sense. And look, I know that's entirely what everything's built, is built on is your opinion, which is fine. And I will fight your opinion every day of the week. As it says on my hat with Mr. Rant, I will rant with you to my last breath on that. But it's just, look, you can't please everybody. You can only please some of the people. If you try and please everybody, you're not going to be happy. But this episode is very pleasing. Very pleasing to see. It's very sad what happened with Chris's dad. The fact he wasn't actually a Nazi and he actually was a good guy trying to do the right thing. And Junior Masters has been a good person to help them get away. And we expect that he's made a new friend, and that Rick Flag Sr. has actually found Adrian's house to bring in Chris. He has brought in Chris. Sorry. So spoilers left, right, and center. And the fact he's going to jail. We did get a slight snippet of what's going to happen in the next episode, but not much. But, it does a great, and obviously with Keith, it's very sad what happened like that. And John Cena's acting in this is fantastic. Again, he has to watch his dad die. Again, he's always going to watch his brother die. And he has a great scene with Harcourt. And hopefully we eventually find out what happened on the bloody boat, which she has said. In fact, we'll find out what's going to happen. So hopefully we'll know what's going to happen on the boat, or we get some type of flashback, which would be great. But this show is just so good. There's the writing, the elevated or moments of just what the fuck am I watching? Or how wild it can be. The fact, like, we're watching a guy that's called Peacemaker in a whole Nazi universe. He thought was going to be perfect. I love it when Harcourt's like, how'd you miss the books on the bench, or how did you miss the giant mural on the wall? And he's like, oh, I just didn't realize to look. But the funny thing is that you go back and you watch when he first got in this universe, and all the signs were there. Basically, that there was no people of color going in that universe. But what's going to happen? Is Keith going to come back to this universe to kill Peacemaker? How's Peacemaker going to get out? What's this whole wild thing going to end? What's that going to mean? What's that going to mean for season 2? Why is Rick Flag trying to go into different multiverses, especially one with a giant skull on spider legs, which is terrifying to see and watch and look at, which I'm like, holy fuck. That's it. That's I wouldn't be jumping through that door at all. But I love where these characters are going. The final is going to be a big mashup. Again, I can't believe the fact that we're already at the end and I'm talking about this as we're getting closer to the end of the year, which is insane. Insane to think about. Alien Earth is done. Peacemaker's about to be done. We're watching Gen V, and then before we know it, Fallout is going to be around Fallout season 2 is going to be around the corner to see as well. And there is a lot of movies coming out in between then, and also Fallout and the last Marvel TV show for the year, which is called Wonder Man, which we should be getting a trailer for that anytime soon now because it's about 2.5 months coming out. But Wonder Man is right there. But it's kind of sad, but how Peacemaker is going to end is going to be brilliant. And another show that I'm going to talk about, going to Gen V season 2, episode 5, which we've got 3 weeks of Gen V, is Just again, which is what I do love about this show is that, you got Peacemaker, which is more, a little more highlighted and effed up. And you got this show that's really more effed up. Not so funny, but showing you the more effed up way of superheroes. Again, one of the best things I love about The Boys is that this show is 100% well, 90%, if you will, 90% of what the superheroes would be in real life. They went to school, if they were a dick, the weird and wonderful powers that we get to see in this show. I don't know why I just like scratch my arm like that. Weird and wonderful thing. And the whole possibility of, what could you do with your powers? If you could heal, what if you got a messed up power? It's all that we get in this show. And this particular season, which this episode is that we do get Sister Sage in this episode. I almost forgot her name. Sister Sage, she comes back. She's got a whole weird relationship with Cypher, which we find out that they're trying to do something or make her as powerful to beat Homelander. Because again, just don't forget the fact that with this show, that this will lead straight into the final season of The Boys, and how's that going to collide all together. And my thought is I would be curious to know how this was going. The show was meant to go without Adrian, who's actually sadly passed away. Which we find out that Cypher also doesn't feel pain because Polarity, Adrian's dad, went to go confront him and just stabbed him straight up. He was fine. Doesn't matter. And we also get a little bit of backstory about Sam, his family, why he's the way he is. The fact that it's not because of the V, it's because of just how he is and with his genes. So that was good, and the fact he doesn't want to help, but they're going to help save. They wanted to. They were going to save Kate. Go save Kate. She's gone through very rough. Her head, her hand. Like I'm really I know Kate did the wrong thing, but I'm really starting to feel sorry for her for so many reasons. Poor Kate. And they try and save her from the asylum, which does not go well. We see Marie's sister. She's in there. Cypher kills her, and then Marie's able to bring her back. But what I do love, again, spoilers, what I do love is that in her vision or her mind for Marie, to bring her back, she really had to concentrate, which worked very well. But I do love it. Made me think of Xavier. When Xavier concentrates too hard on his powers, it can affect a lot of people. As we've seen X-Men 2, and as we've seen in Logan, it can have terrible ramifications. And seeing that, that was very similar to what we saw right here with this, where we saw that she concentrated and she was hurting everybody around him because of their head, because of the blood. They brought her back. That's her sister. So how this episode is going to be is Cypher just going to be do another test, just to bring her back, because of course they all escaped. I still love that Kate's powers don't work properly, and it all ends up messy. On the way that get killed and murder. That's so funny in this show is definitely right up there with laughs. For me, I was like, whoa, holy shit. So Gen V is really hitting that mark, and I love the idea of who done it. It's getting darker. It's messed up. The turn, what's going to happen next? The left, just weird. Again, Gen V is the weird, wonderful shit, and of what the fuck is going on is the beautiful thing about that show. So we've still got a few more episodes. Again, as we reach the final I think is going to be gobsmacking, because it's going to leave you with your jaw wide open and be wow, because how this is currently going, what's that going to lead to going into next season? And with Butcher, I love that the quality of this show is the same level of The Boys, that you don't watch this and go, yeah, this didn't hit the mark, or, you can tell the fact that this is just, an off cut where the money is going and all that. No, this is great. How, again, as I'm saying that, how it's going to work with the with The Boys spin-off prequel TV show with Soldier Boy, who will be, again, Soldier Boy is going to be back for the last episode. So it's just wild to think about how that's all going to end. But the weird plan between Sage and Cypher going to this, his dad is in the giant box in his house. Marie's sister, Kate, what's going to happen to her? Emma's powers, what's going to happen to the school? And also the main thing was, again, which we've seen at the very start, is what does this mean, her being the project, Odysseia, and what does this also mean for, I just forgot the name. And Tolkien. The school is named after. We saw him in episode 1. What's that going to lead to as well? So there's a whole mix of things that are leading up to this, and it's definitely time to strap in. But let me know, what have you thought about Gen V so far? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it not something to miss the mark for you, or you're like, put that to the side and let me just wait until the Boys season final? I know it's watch a YouTube catch-up moment. Definitely let me know. So, ladies and gentlemen, ranters and rantettes, look, I want to say a big thank you for everyone who's come past for this episode. I really appreciate it. Who's ever watched, listened, and else anything in between. As always, we go live every single week. Please go check out our socials where we rant a little bit more. We always get to see this lovely hat that looks like something else. And as always, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time.